Welcome to the weather briefing for May 2nd through May 4th, 2014. I'm meteorologist Chuck Caracosa with the National Weather Service in Miami, Florida. Here's the overview for Friday through the weekend. On Friday, the flow will begin to shift to the south, and storms are possible closer to the east coast, mainly in Palm Beach County. Scattered showers and storms are possible across the interior. It will be warm once again, with highs in the upper 80s to lower 90s. On Saturday, a frontal boundary will approach the region, and scattered showers and storms are forecast across all of South Florida Saturday afternoon. With winds shifting to the southwest, temperatures could reach the lower 90s for the East Coast metro areas. The front is then forecast to push through the region Saturday night into Sunday morning, and much drier and slightly cooler conditions are then forecast. For the mariners and beachgoers, there is a chance of rip currents here at the Atlantic beaches on Friday due to the onshore flow and a northeast swell. Winds will begin to shift more to the south and southwest on Saturday, and the rip current risk may increase for the Gulf Coast. Seas are forecast to be 3 to 5 feet across the Atlantic waters and 1 to 3 feet across the Gulf waters Friday and Saturday. Northerly winds are forecast to increase to 15 to 20 knots on Sunday behind the front, and seas are forecast to build to 4 to 7 feet over the Atlantic waters and 2 to 4 feet over the Gulf waters. A frontal boundary will remain stalled over central Florida on Friday, and rainfall chances will be highest closest to the frontal boundary across the Lake region and Palm Beach County. An area of low pressure is forecast to develop across the eastern Gulf of Mexico along the boundary in response to an upper-level shortwave that is forecast to move across the northern Gulf Coast on Saturday. Low pressure will then begin to move east and northeast along the boundary into the western Atlantic, and the frontal boundary will begin to move southward. Winds will then shift to the south and southwest ahead of the front, and temperatures are forecast to be near record highs on Saturday. Scattered showers and storms are forecast for the region in the afternoon and evening, and then the frontal boundary will then move through the region by Sunday morning, bringing much drier and slightly cooler temperatures. Here is a closer look at the temperature forecast. High and low temperatures will be very similar each day throughout the week. Highs for the East Coast are forecast to be in the mid-80s to around 90 degrees, low to mid-90s across the interior, and mainly upper 80s to around 90 for the Gulf Coast. Lows will be well above normal for this time of year, with temperatures only falling into the mid to upper 60s across the interior and 70s to near 80 degrees for the metro areas. Here's the 5-day QPF forecast for South Florida. Only minimal amounts of rain are forecast through the middle of the week for the East Coast metro areas, with 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain possible across the interior and lake region. Rain chances begin to increase Thursday and Friday, but overall rain amounts are only forecast to be up to 1/2 inch. However, locally higher amounts are possible in thunderstorms. Here is a closer look at the boat and beach forecast for Friday and Saturday. The image in the top left is the significant wave height for Saturday morning, but conditions are forecast to be very similar on Friday. Seas of 3 to 5 feet are forecast for the Atlantic waters, with the highest seas in the Gulf Stream east of Palm Beach County. This is due to a northeast swell of 2 to 3 feet, which is shown in the lower right image, that is forecast to impact the Atlantic waters east of Palm Beach County Friday through the weekend. This will also lead to a risk of rip currents at the Atlantic beaches each day. The rip current risk may increase for the Gulf beaches on Saturday as the wind turns more to a south and southwesterly direction ahead of the front, which is seen in the lower left image. The top right image is the peak wave period and direction. For the Gulf waters, seas up to 3 feet are possible through Saturday, mainly offshore. Here's a closer look at the boat and beach forecast for Sunday. A front is forecast to move through South Florida late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Winds are forecast to increase to 15 to 20 knots, shown in the lower left image. Waves are forecast to build to 4 to 6 feet in the Atlantic and possibly as high as 7 feet in the Gulf Stream. Seas are forecast to build to 2 to 4 feet over the Gulf waters. Rip currents are also possible for the Atlantic beaches on Sunday. Thank you for viewing the weather briefing. For the current weather conditions and latest forecast, please visit our webpage, or you can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter.